Good morning, everybody. How's it going? Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. I hope everyone is in a good mood and everyone is ready for some gaming fun today here live on my channel. Yes. How you guys doing? I hope you're doing well, and we're going to have a good day today. I'm excited for today. We got a lot to talk about on pre-stream because, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about Returnal right now. And there's so much discussion all over the internet about this game. And I'm going to talk about it, of course, on pre-stream and give you guys my thoughts about it in just a moment. But before we get to that, hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome. Crazy week ahead, to say the very least. We've got so many new releases now coming out in the next week that some games are actually going to be falling by the wayside and or not even get played in the next week, which is pretty crazy. So, going to be pretty interesting. Let's talk schedule-wise because this week is crazy, all right, guys? So, first of all, today is Thursday, the 29th of April, 2021. The next to last day of the month, okay? Today, we're doing the final consecutive stream of Nier Replicant. All right, I've been playing this game pretty much all week long. I've gotten pretty far into it. I'm enjoying the game. Yesterday, we had multiple big boss fights, and we've gotten into basically the second half of the narrative of the game. We have unlocked Emil's power. Emil now looks like he did when we encountered him in Nier Automata, and we're getting further in the story, okay? I don't know how much is left in this first run of Nier Replicant because I've never played the game before. I don't know if we'll get really far and even beat it today or if we're, like, way far away. We're going to see, okay? We'll find out. But I'm liking the game. Like, I'm actually legitimately really enjoying the game, more so than I actually thought I would. For a game, here's the weird thing about Nier Replicant is the game itself is over 10 years old, the original Nier game. But the game, very much to me, feels like I'm playing Nier Automata. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know how much of the gameplay they've changed and refined to make it play like Nier Automata, but it really feels like I'm playing a modernized game. I don't feel like I'm playing a game that's over a decade old. So, I'm having a good time with it. I mean, admittedly, some of the grind of having to walk around the map with no fast travel has been annoying because it kills a lot of time. But outside of that, I really don't have many gripes or complaints about the game. I like it. So I hope you guys have been enjoying the playthrough as much as I've been enjoying the game. Okay? And that's why I'm excited for another major stream of it today. We'll get a big chunk in. We'll see how far we can get, etc. Now, after today, this game will not be played consecutively anymore. In fact, we're going to have several days away from it before I actually get back to playing it again. Okay? Just so you guys know. And I apologize if we're on a cliffhanger today and we're nearing the end and we don't finish it. I've been playing it constantly to get as far as I can, before I knew this was going to happen with all these other new releases coming out, okay? But today's main stream, we'll see how it goes. All right? Later tonight is going to be a late-night stream of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be, essentially, one of, if not the last stream of this game for a bit. Because with all of these other games out, all these other new releases, I don't really see how I'm going to have time to play the game. I'm serious. Like, I'm going to have to pick and choose what games are going to be my late night streams moving forward because there's so many games out. And I'm thinking this we'll give Black Ops a break after tonight. Okay? So what are we going to do tonight with Call of Duty? Likely more LMG stuff, unless you guys want me to switch weapons again. We'll just have it as like a final fun stream, and then we'll give the game a rest. I'm not saying we're not going to play it again. I'm saying we're going to give it a break, okay? Hell, I've played a lot of Call of Duty recently, and people have expressed their desire to see less of it anyway, so let this new release week be an opportunity to give the game a break, okay? Even though I'll miss it. Seriously, I will miss it, because I really like the game. Okay. Tomorrow is the big day, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow is the release of Returnal the next major PS5 exclusive, only the second ever PlayStation 5 exclusive. So this game has an intense amount of attention on it. Everyone is looking at Returnal and saying, will it be a good game? You know, everyone's on the fence about it. A lot of people are very hyped for it, and a lot of people are very skeptical about it. The reviews are out, and the reviews, in my opinion, are confusing. I'll talk about this in a moment. I don't really want to focus too much on this. I want to get through the schedule. But we'll talk about this in a second, all right? So anyway, tomorrow, it's Returnal on the main gameplay stream, my first session ever of the game. Okay? Tomorrow night is my weekly gameplay late night session of Street Fighter. Friday night Street Fighter to end my consecutive streaming week. Should be a good time. I hope you guys will join me for that, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. I'm off from streaming on Saturday, my day off for the week to run errands and spend time with my family. I will return on Sunday, and on Sunday, it's another new release stream. It's the new Pokemon Snap. It's actually coming out on Friday, but I didn't want to cram it into a late night stream, nor did I want to have my weekly Street Fighter session be thrown off. So that's going to be my major stream on Sunday. And then Sunday night, I'm going to do more Returnal. Okay? So that's kind of the plan, is Returnal mainstream Friday and late night stream Sunday. So within the first couple of days of playing the game, I'll get a good tear into it. Now, herein lies the problem, right? That means, as of Monday, I'm playing 3 different new releases at once. Oh, by the way, coming up on Friday, guess what's coming out? Resident Evil. So, this is going to be challenging. Let's put it that way. I think that's the best way to really put it. The way I see it, it's going to be a big juggle between these 3 games over the course of the next week. And I don't know if any way that I handle it is actually going to be satisfactory. Because when you have 3 major releases all at once, everyone wants to see each one, and it's like, there's always going to be someone who's disappointed. For example, if we don't beat my first run of Nier Replicant today, there's going to be people who absolutely are going to want to see that conclude and not sit on the back burner on hold before I see the first ending of my first run. And I understand that, right? But then there's other 2 new games coming out, and it's like, oh man, what do you do, right? So here's the deal. I'm going to right now tell you roughly what I'm expecting to do in the next week. Okay? Now, this may change. Okay? Just to emphasize, what I'm about to tell you as the schedule is a guess or an early estimate, dependent directly on how much I like these games and dependent directly on how much you guys like the playthroughs. That's going to determine how much I play each of the new release games. Okay? Alright. Now, here we go. On Monday, May 3rd, I'm planning on doing another Nier Replicant stream. I don't know if that one will be the one to conclude my first run and start the second run or not, but that's what I'm doing. Okay? The late night stream on Monday will be Danganronpa V3. Yes, I need to get 1 stream in a week of this game, and quite frankly, the last stream of Danganronpa was a great one. We advanced the plot to the point where now there's these 2 opposing groups of students. One is almost like a cult-like group called the Student Council, and I'm very interested to see what's going to happen in the game moving forward. So I definitely want to do at least 1 stream of it this week, and that's going to be Monday night. Okay? Tuesday, Returnal will be the main gameplay stream, and Pokemon Snap will be the late night stream. Okay? Now, that could flip if people like Pokemon Snap more than Returnal, or if I like Pokemon Snap more than Returnal, I might flip those streams. We'll see what happens. But that entire day will be the 2 new releases, essentially. Okay? Thursday. Excuse me, I skipped a day. Wednesday, likely, will be more Nier Replicant. And what I'm hoping is by then I'm a good tear into my second run of the game. We'll see. And then Thursday night, I keep saying Thursday. Wednesday night will be Divinity 2. Now, last week's Divinity 2 stream was a disaster. This week, I am solely going to listen to your feedback on the stream to figure out what to do to advance the game, because I cannot waste any more time in Divinity 2. The game's too fucking long, and the fact that the game is so long and has absolutely no guidance on what to do sucks, but it is what it is. If I'm going to advance in the game, I need your help. So I'm just going to do what you guys tell me to do to advance the story. Okay? Then on Thursday, yes, finally, really Thursday, it's either going to be Returnal or Pokemon Snap on the late night stream. And then MLB The Show, excuse me, it's either going to be Returnal or Pokemon Snap for the early stream. And then MLB The Show will be the late stream. So we get one chill stream of MLB The Show in for the week. Now, if people have zero desire to see MLB, then we don't have to do it. I just tossed that in there because it's really the only chill stream, if you think about it, of the week. Everything else is major progress in a narrative-based game, and I wanted to throw in a chill stream for the week. But we don't have to. If we're that, if we're that invested in all the new releases and we're liking them, we want to play more right away, we could do those instead. MLB can also go on hold for a bit if we need it to be. Okay? And then, of course, Friday of next week is the release of Resident Evil 8. So that's going to be Resident Evil 8 on my main gameplay stream, and then my Street Fighter stream will be Friday night to end the week. And that's the week. What a week. 3 major releases, and then another one on Friday. And I think now you guys are starting to see the challenge that it is being a full-time streamer in a year when essentially there were almost no new good releases, and now all of a sudden they decide to release them all within a week. I don't know why the fuck they do this. Why? We just had 2 to 3 months with almost nothing going on in the realm of game releases. Let's release all the games within 3 weeks, right? Like, seriously, man. So that being said, it's going to be fun, but certainly it's going to be challenging. I know, it's going to be challenging. Also, keep in mind, in addition to all of this, during this time frame, this is me on Twitch without a partnership, trying to make ends meet, keep stuff afloat. You guys can't sub, you guys can't cheer. So it's going to be all about tipping and patron pledges, and I got to see if I can convince you guys to support me during all this new release stuff, because just think about it. $70 for Returnal, $60 for Pokemon Snap, right? And another $70 next week for Resident Evil 8. So within this week alone, I'm spending over $200, because when you figure in tax and everything, just on the games. So it's going to be challenging. It is. But we'll see how it happens. I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping you guys will come to my streams and chill with me no matter what game I'm playing. And what I'm really hoping is, even though, yes, Nier Replicant is a hit for me, I like the game. Alright? If Returnal ends up not being so good for me, hopefully Pokemon Snap will be great. If Pokemon Snap ain't so good, hopefully Resident Evil 8 will be great. You know what I mean? Like, the good thing is, even though there's all these games coming out, even if some of them aren't so hot, at least hopefully a few of them will be good. And we'll get some good new stuff here on the streams, okay? Oh, excuse me. All right. So there you go. That's the deal. That's my plans for the week. Now you might say, well, wait a minute. No Call of Duty? No. I think Call of Duty at this point is going to go on hiatus. Just like I said with MLB, I've enjoyed playing it as a late night chill stream, but it may also go on hold for us to have more time for the new releases. So we'll see. We shall see what happens. Okay? Alright. So that's the schedule. By the way, guys, before we get into the big story of the day, which we're going to talk about for a bit here, Returnal, of course. Excuse me. FYI, you can now nominate games for the upcoming Retro Replay special event. Type !Retro Replay into the chat right now, and that will bring up the link. Please nominate games that were a playthrough from 2015 or earlier that I've already done for a modernized playthrough with live streaming, interaction with the viewing audience, face cam, direct capture, and more. All right? All the criteria are listed there already, so I'm not going to go over those criteria to qualify, what games would or would not be eligible. But what I will say is I'm excited for this. There is going to be a marathon in May, likely near the end of the month, where I play whatever game wins this for about 7 hours or so. There will also be a live DSP tries it, okay? When denominations close, we're going to likely give it 2 weeks. We'll give it, through the first week of May, and then maybe a few more days into the second week of May, and then we'll close it off. And then it will become a poll. The poll will work by basically whatever games were most nominated, we'll make it into that poll that you guys can start voting on, okay? So I'm excited for this. I don't know what's going to happen. I have not looked yet at the thread to see what games have been nominated in this first 24-hour period, but I'm sure people went in there and started nominating like crazy. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Last thing I'll say before we talk about Returnal, because I have a lot to say about it. Please, guys, if you can, please support the streams. As you know, right now I am doing everything I can to try to stay on Twitch. It's tough. Don't get me wrong. It's fun. I like this community, but it's going to be rough with no subs and no cheering. So it's pretty much based solely on tipping during the live streams, which is why the tips goals have gone up so much, or pledging to my Patreon. All right? Now, if you pledge to my Patreon, full disclosure, the way Patreon works is when you pledge to it, you immediately get charged, all right, for your pledge, but then you will also get an auto renewal on the first of every month. So that means if you go to my Patreon at patreon.com/darksidephil, you say, I want to support Phil. I'm going to pledge $10 today. Thank you for that. I get that immediately. But then you're going to get auto charged again on May 1st. Okay? So I'm just throwing that out there so you understand that. I don't want anyone to get a misconception and pledge and then get double charged. Okay? Some people have already outright told me they're going to wait till May 1st to pledge. That way it avoids the double charge. Okay? So, I hope you guys will give it a look. And by the way, yes, I am planning on upgrading my Patreon sometime in the month of May. Possibly renewed perks and renewed rewards. Since right now, this whole thing kind of blindsided me in the last week. And really, I just haven't had opportunity to really do anything in regards to anything yet. But I'm hoping in May, I'll have an opportunity to sit down for a bit and try to figure stuff out and make it more attractive. Because I did a poll last night. And the poll was, you know, three things that would make you pledge to Patreon. Would you pledge as soon as possible just to help right away? Are you waiting till May 1st to pledge because that way you don't get double charged? Or are you just going to wait until I update my Patreon so that there's attractive perks, and that's when you're going to pledge? And most people said, we're going to wait for attractive perks. So, makes sense that I sit down and spend some time trying to figure out what perks to put in there. One of the main things people have suggested is some kind of interactive multiplayer event with me involving games. Now, I don't know what that would be, because every time that I used to do this with patrons, some people wanted to play fighting games, some people wanted to play shooters, some people wanted to do party-style games, so it was always a nightmare to do the logistics. So rather than have it like that, I think what I'm going to do is, okay, if you pledge to my Patreon a certain amount, we will plan a day that will be patron streamer night. And that night, I'll do like a 2-hour stream of Jackbox Party Pack, and I'll get the patrons into, you know, sessions of it and stuff like that. That's what I'm thinking, okay? That's kind of what I'm thinking we'll do. But we'll have to figure that out. We have to figure out the way to make it work, right? And also, it depends on the amount of patrons, because if like 10 people pledge, okay, great. That's a fun 2-hour streaming night where me and 9 other people are playing Jackbox. If 40 people, 50 people pledge, now I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit that in. You see what I'm saying? So it's going to be interesting to try to figure this out. But I think that we're going to try to do something like that. Implement that in the month of May. Okay? Okay, hold on one second, because if you can't tell, my fucking allergies are bothering me. I'm going to blow my nose quickly. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to what everyone wants to talk about. Let's get to the subject at hand, the big news today. Returnal comes out tomorrow. It is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. It is only the second ever PlayStation 5 exclusive. The only other one was Demon's Souls, okay? The reviews are out. The review embargo's over. And ladies and gentlemen, I hate to say it, but it appears we have a situation, which is one of those cases where the review scores make no sense, because if you actually read the reviews, they give you a ton of detailed information about this game that may make you like or not like it, yet every review says the game is good when it comes to the review score. Alright? So, no lie, I saw reviews. I saw reviews that were as thus. Okay, ready? Here's what the review said. I'm not even kidding. I'm paraphrasing, but essentially the review says, Returnal is repetitive. There's a gameplay loop that's good for the first few hours and then gets boring and repetitive because it's procedurally generated rather than handcrafted. The game does not have the ability to save. You have to beat entire stages in one go, which means if you die, you waste entire hours of gameplay, which is incredibly frustrating. The game itself is a roguelike, which works for an indie game, but for a major AAA studio release charging $70, it kind of doesn't live up to expectations of what you would want out of a AAA studio release, especially being only the second PlayStation 5 exclusive ever game. But the graphics are amazing. The gameplay itself is outstanding. 9 out of 10. What? What? Wait a minute. Your review... Literally, your review just said, repetitive, grindy, no saving leading to frustrations like crazy, and you wish that the levels were handcrafted rather than procedurally generated. 9 out of 10. You just gave 4 game-destroying criticisms. 9 out of 10. And I'm not kidding you, like, if you go look at those fucking reviews, that's what they're all like. They're all saying, yeah, the game is definitely not like perfect. It has a lot of flaws. The game has this wrong with it, this wrong with it, this wrong with it. 9 out of 10. What the fuck are you talking about? That's not how you review a game. You don't say the game has a ton wrong with it. 9 out of 10. That's not how it's done. That's called irresponsible journalism. And I'm tired of it. I really am, because the reviews are good. If you actually read the reviews, reading the meat of the reviews themselves are good. They have exposed the game's flaws so that you will actually know what the game is when you're dropping $70 for it. And I'm happy that they did that, and I'm happy that the reviews were honest. I'm not happy that the number of the fucking scores are all incorrectly, stupidly not scaled. That pisses me off. Seriously. That makes me incredibly frustrated, because now you have the entire mainstream internet saying, oh, well, all I did is I went to Metacritic, and Metacritic says it's like an 87 out of 100, so it must be Game of the Year material. Wow, it's the best game ever. I can't wait to play Returnal. It's like, no, wait, did you read the review? Well, no, I just looked at the Metacritic score. I hate that shit. Why does it exist? Why the fuck do we do this? Why do we... Oh, my God. Seriously. One of my biggest pet peeves is that people just listen to a review score and that's it. So now, tomorrow if I play Returnal and if I criticize the game, I'm wrong. Because Metacritic says 87, man. The game's great. You're just an idiot. Like, no. Actually, no, stupid. Actually read the fucking reviews, and what you'll see is that the scores don't make sense. This is what I fucking hate about this shit. It's kind of like, oh my God, collectively the games industry comes together and says, oh, look, it's only the second PlayStation 5 exclusive ever. We got to pad this fucking score up to the high heavens, you know, because so few people have PS5, and those that have it want a great game, so we got to say it's good. Even though we're honest in our review and we criticize the game, 9 out of 10. It drives me nuts, okay? And by the way, I'm not saying roguelike games are bad. I'm not saying games with repetitive gameplay loops are bad. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is I hate the review system that we all use for modern games. It doesn't make sense. Really, it doesn't make sense. Metacritic itself doesn't make fucking sense. Shouldn't exist. Because people just take the number and say it's good instead of actually reading the reviews. Alright? Now, let's actually talk about what people are saying about Returnal. Alright? First of all, apparently some of the best graphics people have ever seen in a console video game. We're being told it's the particle effects, the lighting, the amount, the frames per second, the crazy detail on the aliens you're fighting and shit, the weapon, everything is apparently, like, insanely outstanding. Like, top, best in class, blow your fucking pants off, high-level visuals. Okay? That's good. Also, apparently, people are really saying that this game is really the first game you're playing on PlayStation 5 that feels like a PlayStation 5 game. What that means is it really feels like the game developers specifically designed this game for the PlayStation 5, all right, and utilized all of its features. Haptic feedback in the controller, right? Instant loading times. You die, you're right back to get right back into the fray. Excuse me. So that's what I mean. Like, that's great. These are great things. Okay. Also, some people are saying essentially this game is the roguelike Doom Eternal, meaning that it has a very challenging gameplay loop, but the gameplay loop can hook you, and if you end up liking the gameplay loop, it ends up being very, very high octane, balls to the wall fun. Okay. So that's high praise. Doom Eternal, one of the highest reviewed and best praised games of 2020. Saying this game is close to Doom Eternal is actually high praise in my opinion. Even though, personally, I wasn't in love with Doom Eternal and I criticized it heavily, that doesn't mean that I don't acknowledge that tons of people liked the game, and that would mean that this game is pretty fucking good. Okay? Fair enough? Alright. So that's a good thing. Alright? But then we get to the criticisms of the game and or some of the things that I consider worthy of criticism. First of all, the game is procedurally generated. What does that mean? Procedurally generated means that it's everything generated on the fly. RNG is definitely a factor, meaning it's not pre-designed. These are not set levels. This is not a game where everything was handcrafted by a game developer. This is a game that the game kind of just throws shit together on its own. So one person could play the game and have one experience, and another person can play the game and have a different experience. Okay? And the thing about that is, I can understand that people are saying, well, that's awesome. That means that everyone has a unique gameplay experience. True. But what if someone has something that's way more challenging than someone else? Or, I don't know. Like, for me, when I hear procedurally generated, that gets me excited for like a couple hours, but I really feel what ends up happening is when you don't have a gameplay experience that's handcrafted and personally designed by a game dev, but instead just random, it makes me feel like it ends up losing value. Like, it's going to end up being repetitive and boring. You're going to see similar things throughout the game over and over. It really will feel more like a grind than an actually... Let me put it this way. Think about Dark Souls. Dark Souls 3. All right? Oh, actually, I got a better example. Bloodborne. Think about playing the main campaign of Bloodborne. How well designed it is. How great handcrafted it is. Right? Bloodborne is outstanding. Now think about the Chalice dungeons. Right? The procedurally generated Chalice dungeons that are boring and repetitive and the same fucking thing. Over and over and over. And to the point where they're just really a grind and not very entertaining, right? Both for the viewer and the player. Do you see? That's the difference. Handcrafted, specifically designed to have a challenge in mind, to have a atmosphere in mind, a story that plays out, you know, well-designed bosses and things versus, just randomly generated. And it's repetitive and it ends up being grindy and boring. Do you see? And that's what kind of makes me a little bit worried. Seriously, that's what makes me worried about Returnal. I honestly feel that Returnal would be a better game if it were more handcrafted and if the game designers had personally developed every stage. When I first heard about this game, I was like, dude, this game could be like, it's like Dead Space on steroids. Imagine if it was like a survival horror game where you're fighting tons of crazy aliens and shit, and you know what I mean? And there's scares and everything. Instead, it just seems like it's going to be run into an area. Oh, here's enemies, kill them. Uh-oh, more enemies, kill them. Okay, you used it, kill them. Get around, survive, dodge, kill them. And when you think about that, it's like gameplay. There's no atmosphere. There's no, you know what I mean? You definitely lose something. Now, in addition to that, apparently the game has no save system. When you go into a stage, you're going into that stage and you got to beat that shit all at once. Some stages, and this is actually one of the major criticisms I saw from multiple gaming outlets this morning when I was reading these reviews, a lot of them are saying the levels are too long. The levels definitely feel like they are way too long. They slog on. You're like, when the fuck does this end? Because you know you can't save. So you're going to have times when you're going to be incredibly frustrated, play for an hour, die, now you have to play for a fucking hour again. What? I want you to think about that. Modern day gaming, modern day, 2021, the game developer doesn't actually care about my time. I play an hour, oh, something new that I didn't expect killed me. Oh, play the hour over. What? Why? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you wasting my fucking time? Give me a save point. No save points in Returnal. Why? Can you give me one valid explanation or justification why you're doing it that way? All you're doing is creating frustration for a fucking gamer. I'm sorry that my time is valuable, and I don't want to play for an hour, die, and have to redo an hour of fucking gameplay because you didn't put save points in your fucking game. Like, I seriously can't think of a single modernized justification of why that is, except, oh, we just wanted to make the game more frustrating for the gamer. So that's another major thing that obviously has got me really worried about the game. Okay? Essentially, my concern is thus. Gonna pay $70 for this game. I'm gonna play 2 sessions of it, and they're gonna be great. The first session's gonna blow my socks off. Amazing graphics, cool enemies, gameplay that's fun and everything, you know, and getting advancement or whatever. Great. Second session, okay, getting a little bit tougher, still kind of fun. But then when you get to the third session, the fourth session, when you have to play for a half an hour, 45 minutes at a tear without a break to beat the stage, you die, you have to replay 30 to 45 minutes to beat the stage. When we're starting to see the same enemies over and over because they're procedurally generated instead of actually handcrafted. You know what I'm saying? I get the feeling this game is going to be a game that the best way to explain, okay, all right, hold on a second. I'm gonna try to do this as best I can. All right. So here's what I'm thinking. All right. Hold on a second. I'm actually gonna turn off the webcam for this. I want to give you a perfect example of 2 different scenarios of when you're playing a video game. Okay. Scenario 1. Wow, I just beat that game and that game blew me away. That game's gonna have me thinking for a while. And that game was so good that I can't wait to do a new game plus run and jump right back into it and see maybe the things that I missed the first run through. This is an exceptionally good game, and I can't wait to play it again. Okay? That's scenario 1. Here's scenario 2. Oh my God. Thank God I finally beat that fucking game. That game was a chore. That game was balls to the wall, insanely annoying and challenging, and I'm just happy that it's fucking over with. I never want to fucking play that game again, but at least I can say I beat it and I have that accomplishment under my belt. Do you see the difference? Those are 2 completely different gameplay experiences. They both can be valid. They both can be, say, okay, those are both good games. But for me, especially because we're so early on in the life cycle of the PlayStation 5, I would much more like to have the game that wants me to pick this controller back up and play the game again than a game where I'm so frustrated at it that I finally beat it that I slam my controller down and say I never want to touch it ever again. Thank God it's over. Do you see the difference? $70, only the second ever PlayStation 5 exclusive, give me the game that's going to hook me and want me to play it again and say, wow, that game resonates with me forever, rather than the game that I'm glad is done with. That's what I'm worried about with Returnal, honestly. I'm worried that this is going to be a game that after 2-3 streams, I'm frustrated and bored, you're frustrated and bored, and why are we even playing it anymore when we've got Resident Evil 8, when we've got chill game like Pokemon Snap, when I'm trying to get my second run of Nier Replicant in, why are we playing it? Do you see? That's kind of my major concern about it. Now, I could be completely wrong, because I haven't played it yet. I'm just judging, these are my preconceptions about the game, based on the reviews I read this morning. Okay? So, I don't know. I honestly don't know how this is going to go. I'm looking forward to it from just a curiosity standpoint, but I honestly don't know what the hell the game's going to end up being for me, you know? I guess we'll see. My biggest concern would buy for $70, play it 2 times, hate it because of all the things that I'm afraid of, and now it's an endless. I have to keep grinding in it, or just I don't want to drop it. You see what I mean? Like, it's just frustrating, man. Why is this the second PlayStation 5 exclusive? Is my question. Why do we not have good AAA releases that are like, man, this is really the reason why you own the console? Why did they make this the second game? And the thing is, this studio, which I don't know the name of the studio. It's a studio that's actually not a major AAA studio. Is essentially going to make a ton of money on this game. Only because it's the second ever PlayStation 5 exclusive, and because every fucking game reviewer is kissing the game's ass giving it 9 out of 10, despite the fact that they criticize the fuck out of the game in their reviews. So they're going to make a ton of money. Right? They are. They're going to bank on this shit. And the question is it worthy of it? I don't know, man. I don't know. We're going to see. But it is very frustrating to me. It's a situation where, like, I don't know what's going to happen with this thing. It makes me skeptical. It makes me nervous. Because I want to put out a good playthrough for you guys, but what if the game's so fucking boring and just a grind and a chore? Why are so many games chores? That's a big question. Why is it that I'm playing a game and it feels to me like it's just a frustration and an annoyance rather than a game that's fun? I don't understand that. Like, who said games need to be fucking annoying? I don't understand this at all. Some games are fun because they're chill. Some games are fun because they have a fun narrative that plays out while you're having some challenging gameplay. Not just, I have to punish the fucking gamer with these annoying ass fucking game design choices and things that just make the game way more long than it should be. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. I don't fucking... What goes through the heads of these game devs? In 2021, what are they thinking? You don't need to save. No saves in our game. What the fuck are you talking about? I could save my game on Super fucking Nintendo. They realized in the 90s that people didn't want to waste time anymore. Why are you doing this to me? Why? Answer me. Right now, I want an answer. What's my review score for Returnal? 2 out of 10. That's my review score. Put that on Metacritic right now. No, I didn't play it, obviously. And again, you're absolutely right, Techie's Picker. He says, it's all subjective point of view. People like that style of game. It makes money. I think the better question... I scrolled off the screen. Hold on. He says, the better question is, what kind of games do you enjoy playing? And you're right. So you have to understand something, okay? This is all from the perspective of someone who is a content creator and a full-time live streamer and a variety streamer. I know that my next week is not going to be all Returnal. Maybe 3 streams next week will be Returnal. You see? So I'm looking from the big picture perspective. And from the big picture perspective of a content creator, like, why did they do this? It's frustrating because I'm waiting all this time for a great PS5 exclusive. This one comes out, it's like, this isn't even a game that's, like, going to be good for streaming. Like, you see? Like, it just frustrates the fuck out of me. Like, come on, man. Come on! Move! Huh! Okay. Anyway. I wanted to vent a little bit about it this morning. And here's the thing. It could be a great game. I don't know. I might love it. I might play it tomorrow and be like, oh my god, this is great. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to play it tomorrow for the first time and we're going to see firsthand. That is one of the best benefits of being a content creator, is that I get to experiment and share these experiences with you guys every day. Okay? We're going to find out tomorrow. I hope you guys will be here tomorrow for this. Waste of a rant? There's never a waste of a rant. How dare you say that, Magma Diver? There's a waste of a rant. No, if anything, this rant is valid because I'm tired of the fucking mainstream game review sites that suck shit. Like, I couldn't believe that. I'm reading the review and it says the gameplay loops are too long because there's no saving. It's incredibly frustrating when you die. The gameplay loops get boring after like 5 hours. You start to do the same thing over and over, and therefore it's not as good as it looks at first glance, although the first few hours are quite good. 9 out of 10. What? 9? What? What the fuck? Your review just said 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10. You gave it a 9 out of 10. What are you talking about? I hate these fucking companies. I really want to know. I want to know something. Who are the editors at IGN? Who are the editors at fucking all these gaming news sites? who allow this garbage to be fucking published? I want to know. Did you even read the fucking review? How can you say someone has like 10 negative points about a game and give it a 9 out of 10? Like, no. Just on paper, what you're saying makes no sense. Oh my god, man. Okay. I got it out of my system. Alright, I got it out of my system. That's my feelings. We'll find out. We will find out tomorrow when I start playing this game. Okay? We'll find out. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get to shout-outs, because I'm sure the shout-outs will have us have some interesting discussion here. Thank you to those who've contributed so far today on stream. Again, remember, the only ways you can contribute today are tipping or pledging to my Patreon at patreon.com/darksidephil. We're trying to hit the tips goal every single stream. Sadly, yesterday, we didn't hit the tips goal at all day long. That sucks. And it's okay to have that happen every once in a while, but I'm hoping that's not something that's frequent. Because again, you know, I'm trying to make up for the fact that I'm not in a partner program anymore. It's going to be challenging, okay? So if you like... excuse me, I turned away from the mic to do that because it was disgusting. Sorry about that. If you like my content, if you like that I've been covering Nier Replicant so much this week, if you're looking forward to me covering all these new games, you want to help me with the cost of all the goddamn games I got to buy in the next week, please tip me today, okay? All right, so we actually start off today with a whoppingly huge tip from Shirtless Mofo. He tipped me $1 million. No, he didn't. He tipped me $100. Thank you so much, Shirtless Mofo. That is very generous. In fact, you know what? Since that's such a very generous tip, let's do some celebration. Ready? Awesome. I haven't done that in a while. Thank you, Shirtless Mofo, for a whopping $100 tip. Just an FYI, guys, I have to wear a very light vest today because the sun is fully out outside. And my office already, I would argue, is about 75 to 80 degrees in here. So I'm just going to grab one of the lighter vests to wear for today. But thank you so much, Shirtless Mofo. He says the following. I may have missed a few Nier streams because of life and stuff, but I made it this time, so let's go, Phil. I think, if anything, you're attending the correct stream because today is exciting. We're in the second half of the game, and all new abilities and weapons are unlocked, and things are getting very interesting. Like I said, Emil just turned into his weird ass like form, which is the form that he had in Nier Automata. So I'm very excited to see where the story else goes today. Should be a very good session, I feel. So good stuff that you're here today, and thank you so much for the support. Okay, Jad F has tipped me $4.20. Thank you, Jad F. Let's get that on the leaderboard here. He says the following: how much are you going to pay for Returnal in the States after taxes? Because in Europe, the game costs 80 euros, which is essentially the equivalent of 97 American dollars. That's insane. My friends who bought a PS5 won't touch it until there's heavy discounts, which tells me it will sell terribly in Europe. No, I get the feeling the game's going to sell like crazy. You want to know why? Because of the reviews. If every review says 9 out of 10, it doesn't matter. It's going to sell. Especially because there are so few PS5 exclusives, people are going to fucking buy it, dude. People seriously greatly underestimate the power of mainstream game reviews. When IGN gave Days Gone a 6.5, that single-handedly probably cut 1 million sales off of it. I'm serious. That's how much reach these companies have and how much power they have, but they still review games incredibly irresponsibly on the regular. Fuck them. Anyway, so Jadev, it's $70 here, okay? 70 American bucks plus sales tax. Now, sales tax is dependent on what state you live in, okay? My state is 10%. So that means it's going to be 70 bucks plus an additional $7, so it's going to be like $77, $78 for me. Yes. So there you go. And yeah, it's expensive, but I guarantee you people are going to drop it. I guarantee you people are going to drop that money. So, Snow Carl's tipped me $1.30. He says, do you think that playing games like Assassin's Creed and Immortals and other casual games handicapped you when playing games like actual challenges like Divinity 2 because they don't hold your hand? Divinity 2 is... I don't know what you're talking about, because Divinity 2, it's not even a matter of challenge. It's a matter of, like, needing to know what you can and can't do in what order, because you're either under-leveled or whatever. It's not like I'm playing Divinity 2 and, oh my god, every piece of combat's destroying me. That's not the case at all. The case is you walk into an area, oh, everything's 15 levels above you. Oh, you got crushed and turned into paste, right? That's the problem with Divinity 2, is there's no... The game doesn't tell you where to go. The game doesn't tell you what direction to go in. It just throws you to the wolves, and you end up wasting hours of time. That's different than a game that you're describing, where not much combat challenge, essentially. Not even close. So I say that's a terrible comparison. A better comparison would be, do I think that games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Immortals, which weren't super challenging in the combat department, essentially made me now kind of, wimped out, and now when I play a game like Returnal, I'm not going to enjoy it. That's a better comparison. And the answer is, I don't know. I won't know until I play Returnal. Jimmy Hall tipped me $1.30. Says you need to stop quantifying a game's score in terms of math. You can't just say a game deserves a low score because it has flaws. Flaw doesn't mean bad. Well, here's the thing, Jimmy Hall. All right? When you are a responsible games journalist, or someone who realizes that they have a reach or a voice that people listen to, you have to have something that's called personal responsibility. All right? When you're reviewing a game, you have some objective responsibility. Objective responsibility to say what you like and don't like about a game, and then to weigh and balance it properly. Yes, subjectiveness comes into play in a game review. It's an opinion. But at the very same time, if you're going to tell me the game has 10 things wrong with it and 2 things good, how can you say it's a nearly perfect game? That is factually incorrect. That's called, oh, my feels took me over, and my feels say that this game is so good. It's bullshit. It's called bullshit. It's called you're immature. It's called you have no fucking self-control, and you let your emotions overcome you instead of being an objective reviewer. And I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to let these fuckers get away with it in 2021. They've always been doing this. Oh, well, their opinion's just a review, so I can put any number on it I want. How about go fuck yourself? How about I don't care about your review then, because you're a fucking incredibly irresponsible person? Because people will buy games based off your number score, not off the words you say. So have the fucking number score be reasonable. Or, how about this? Don't do a number score. Don't do it at all. No number score. Instead, just give a text review that explains the good things and bad things about the game, and let people judge for themselves, instead of just putting a number on it. Everyone's a lazy fuck and just thinks that the game is great or bad. Jimmy Hall took me another $1.30. Says, you say you don't like roguelike games. I never said that. In fact, I've played very few. I played Binding of Isaac. I thought the game was good, but essentially, yes, incredibly repetitive. Still good, though. Outside of that, I mean, what other roguelike games have I really played? Not many. What was that one I played? Was it Resistor or something? Transistor? I think that one was a roguelike, and I didn't like that one. I thought that one was boring as shit. I didn't really like it at all. Bastion? Would Bastion be considered a roguelike? I don't even know. I'm trying to remember. They were a very long time ago when I played them. But I don't really play roguelike games. You know? Anyway, he says everything you're complaining about with Returnal is just a thing roguelike games do because it's a roguelike game. And so I'm not allowed to criticize that? Oh, okay. Oh, it's a roguelike game. You can't criticize it. What? Well, maybe here's my criticism. Okay, here's my criticism. Returnal shouldn't be a roguelike game. Returnal is only the second PlayStation 5 exclusive game. It should be a game that is handcrafted. It should be a game that has atmosphere. It should be a game that resonates with you, not a game that crushes you into fucking paste, wastes your time with no saves, pisses you off. It should be a game that actually resonates with you and say, wow, I'm glad I bought a PS5, not, wow, I'm glad that game's fucking over. That's the point I'm making. You could disagree. That's okay if you disagree. If you love that kind of game, but personally, I don't know if I'm going to like it. I don't know. Supergiant made Hades. See that? Look at that. So I played Bastion and I played Transistor, and those were the predecessors to Hades, which everyone says is like one of the best games of last year, and that's a roguelike game. So I guess I did play games that were so... And the thing is, I really liked Bastion, but I didn't like Transistor. I think that they had done some changes to the formula that I didn't like that much. So. Okay. Anyway. Snow Carl tipped me $1. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I skipped something. Shirtless Mofo tipped me $1.30. Another dollar tip. Thank you, Shirtless Mofo. Let's get that on the leaderboard. And he says, I feel like Returnal is meant to be a test run. If players lap it up, then they may make more games this way. Procedural generation, I believe it's going to be more attractive for companies going forward because current gen demands a lot of resources and time. Yeah, I almost feel like this game was, because this game was not a AAA company. They're not. They didn't have the resources of a major AAA studio. And so they said the only way we're going to pull this sucker off is if we do procedurally generated. If we try to handcraft every little piece of it, we don't have the time or resources to do it. But if we just let the engine do it for us, right, then we can get away with it. That's kind of how I feel. Because I don't know why else would they have, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get why this would have been this, again, we're going to show off everything this console can do, make a game that's basically a grind. Why? Why? Think of all the games that have resonated in the last 5 years. Here's the games that have resonated for me. Games like Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, I'll be honest, a game like Detroit Become Human, the story of that game was outstanding. I'm trying to think of the best resonating game. These are games that I'm going to remember for a very long time. How many of those were just a repetitive grind that crunched my balls and made me get pissed off? Exactly? 0. That's right. 0. But everyone has different tastes. And that's the thing. I definitely feel, all right, that there is an actual huge audience and a place for those kind of games. The question is that the game you want to be your first actual major PS5 exclusive? I don't know. I don't think so. My answer is no. I think that no, they should have done something different. A big counter to this is later today, if you guys aren't aware, there's a State of Play presentation from Sony. Around 2 p.m., State of Play is going to happen. And State of Play is going to cover 15 new minutes of gameplay and a ton of information about the new Ratchet & Clank game. Maybe the new Ratchet & Clank game is the game. Maybe that's the one that's going to blow us away. Pixar quality graphics, fun gameplay, doesn't fucking punish you. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the one. It's going to say, man, I'm glad I got a PS5. I just don't know if Returnal is that game. Snow Carl tipped me $1.30 and said the issue is that normal people have no interest in reading 5-page essays from nerds on Kotaku about some indie game. We want a quick quantitative stat that will tell me it's good or not. See, and I'm okay with that if they know how to do it and they did it reasonably, but they don't, Snow Carl. That's the point I'm making. The point I'm making is if they were responsible, if they had talent, if they had any kind of credibility, they'd be able to give it a number that made sense. But then every game should not be 9 out of 10. They can't do that. They've proven time and time again they are not capable of being responsible and mature. They just pump out the feels. Oh, the game gave me the feels. 9 out of 10. Fuck you. BattleDuck 9000 has resubscribed for a whopping 50 months, and he says, oh yeah, fake anniversary. And I know, BattleDuck, this sucks, because you are one of the longest running supporters here, right? 50 months is a crazy, man. Think about that. Over 4 years, you were here supporting the streams, basically ever since I started being a full-time streamer in 2017, right? You were here for that whole ride. And now that ride continues, but we can't celebrate anniversaries anymore because, Twitch basically punished me for doing nothing. That's great, isn't it? So anyway, it is what it is. It sucks. Thank you, BattleDuck, for that ongoing support for as long as you did support. But I do know that you will support in other ways because you are a long-standing supporter, and I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Okay. All right, guys. All right, so outside of all that, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else off the top of my head that I want to talk about. I'm trying to think. Not really particular. I think we covered pretty much everything. I wanted to vent about this, and I did. Jimmy Hall, Timmy $1.30 says your version of a good, credible, responsible game score seems to be start with a perfect score and subtract X amount for each flaw the game has, regardless of how good the game actually is. No. No. That's not correct at all. No. I think here's the point I'm trying to make, Jimmy Hall. All right, I hope that this makes sense. Modern game reviewers, game journalists per se, tend to monstrously overinflate scores for games that have hype behind them. It's that simple. They will criticize a game and say, wow, this is a flaw, this is a flaw, this is a flaw. But if it's a big game with hype behind it, it always has a crazy high score. Always. Very few exceptions. Very few exceptions where you'll find a game journalist being realistic. And then when they finally are, it's almost not fair. All right? So I'll give you some perspective here. Last year, so many games journalists completely overinflated certain game scores. I'm not going to say which game in particular I feel the game score was overinflated of. Perhaps there's a slide in this pre-stream slideshow that may even explain what I mean, but I think you understand what I'm saying, okay? Then, a game like Ghost of Tsushima comes out. And I actually feel that the actual reviews for Ghost of Tsushima were actually legitimately good. Like, if you read those reviews, they are pretty accurate to what the game is. The problem is, because they overinflated the scores of other games that year, they basically said Ghost of Tsushima is like no good compared to those games, which is complete horseshit. 100% bullshit. Ghost of Tsushima, hands down, was one of the best games of 2020. There's no way you could even objectively say it wasn't. If you look on paper at the content of games and things like that, you have to admit, even if you didn't like it, it still was one of the best games of 2020. So then why is it on the lower end of the review spectrum for those games? Because they weren't honest in their reviews of other games. And this is the point I'm making. These games get overhyped, the fucking reviews get overinflated, and then everything else suffers. And that's not right. They need to, instead of every review's based on the feels, they have to have an objective scoring system. They need to start doing this. And the only case where you can bypass that objective scoring system is if for some reason you actually feel the game surpasses its flaws. You see what I'm saying? Like, let's say, for example, you have a game where the gameplay is flawed, but the story is one of the best stories you ever experienced in a video game. Then you can say, listen, even though you got to put up with the flaws of the game, it's worth it to get through this game because it is so fulfilling when you beat it, and it's better than the sum of its flaws. Then I can understand them saying, okay, this game's a 9 out of 10. But the problem is that's not the case here. It's just, oh, there was hype behind this game, 9 out of 10. What? The fuck? I can't. And then again, and then the other games suffer. It's not fair. All right, I'm going to be very honest here. I'm upset about Days Gone and how it was handled. Because Days Gone was a game that the first 10 hours sucked shit. But once you get past the first 10 hours, the game is one of the best games of that year. And it's a game that most people overlook because the first 10 hours suck shit. Game reviewers didn't say that. Game reviewers just said the game sucks shit, 6.5. That's not good. That game should have had a sequel. And it got completely destroyed because game reviewers were irresponsible to it and overhyped every other game around it and didn't even play past the first 10 hours. It was apparent from reading their fucking reviews, they never got to the good parts of the game because they gave up. You see what I'm saying? When you're irresponsible, as a mainstream game reviewer, you can make or break an entire game. You can make or break an entire franchise. So you have to be responsible, and there needs to be some kind of an objective system used when your score is generated. Seriously, there has to happen. It's not, oh, there's just the feels, 9 out of 10. Fuck off. Because then you get a game that everything on Metacritic says it's great, and you play it like this game ain't even good. What the fuck are you talking about? All right, SPB to me $1.30 says, can we get an update on your journey to get a vaccine? Do you have a preference for which vaccine you want? I've been checking every day, and we almost got an actual appointment this time, but it didn't work out, essentially. I'm hoping in the next week we'll get one. I've been checking every morning, and we're getting close. Let me put it this way. It was to the point where I could only schedule one like 3 weeks out. Now it's getting to the point where I can kind of schedule one within 2 weeks. So we basically have to get it lined up with our day off, and then we'll be able to do it. If not, we're just going to have to take time off. So, how do you almost get an appointment? Because you go, it says there's appointments, you put your information in, you click to the end, and then it finally gives you the dates. And the dates aren't good, because it's a date you can't go. That's how you almost get an appointment. We get to the point, oh man, it's like off by one fucking day. Shit. Snowcrawl tipped me $1.30 and says, isn't boosting an objectively low rating by subjective standards exactly what you did with Bug Snacks? No offense, it was a pretty average game for children. Well, Snowcrawl, did you not hear what I just said? I said, if you were playing a game and you feel that despite its shortcomings and its flaws, that the game has uniqueness to it or the game has a factor to it that overcomes its flaws, then you can say that it's a better game than its flaws. And that's what I feel Bug Snacks is. At its core, Bug Snacks is Pokemon. You're running around solving puzzles to catch Pokemon on the island. Of course, there's no combat. It's just trying to find creative ways to catch these creatures. That's the gameplay loop of Bug Snacks. But the story is outstanding. You get to know all these characters who have actual flaws. They feel like the real people you're talking to because they're all imperfect. You get to learn their personal stories. You get to find a big, crazy, ominous mystery that's going on throughout the entirety of the game. There's a scariness factor to it. The ending blows your fucking mind. Like I said, like literally that's a game. The gameplay ain't so great, but the fucking overall presentation and package, I felt that is a game I will remember for years. Because it's one of the most unique things I've ever played. Because of the story. Not because of the gameplay loop. You know? So that's a case where it overcomes. And yes, if you're going to say Bug Snacks is a great game, I understand why. You can't say on paper Bug Snacks is the best gameplay experience you've ever had. But you could definitely say it's one of the best stories you've ever seen. You see the difference? That's the point I'm making here. And you say, tip me $1.30. I know you just made this statement with Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2, but you can't say that a game's objectively good or bad review of someone's opinion, a game that you like another... Okay, thanks. Just like I said, he said absolutely nothing. Okay. All right, everyone. Well, that is that. Let us now end the pre-stream. Let us take a quick break. I'm going to use the restroom. And when I come back, it's time for Nier Replicant. All right? What I'm hoping is that we get pretty far in Nier Replicant today. I don't know how far into it we are, but I'm honestly hoping that we get pretty far. I would like to at least get near to like the end of the story. Doubt we will. It would be great if we did. So that way, I'm not leaving the game basically unfinished as it goes on hold for several days to play other games. I guess we'll see what happens here. All right, guys. Thank you very much. And I shall return shortly with Nier Replicant. Thank you guys very much. Take this opportunity, grab a drink or a snack, use the restroom, do whatever it is you need to do because the gameplay is right behind the corner. See you in a sec. All right.